Monogamy ain't me, but promise if we add a member. I stay faithful from November on the next December. No average marriage, but your life will be such an adventure. Iced out in Iceland in the blue lagoon, dead of the winter. Stop listening till you lose a family, come fuck with a winner. I'm from a city.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Garrett, and today I'm gonna give you guys a tutorial on how to create your own professional Twitch live stream graphics. And this is gonna be a very highly requested tutorial all throughout my my whole YouTube career and all my clients and stuff like that. So basically, we're gonna break this down into a bunch of parts to kind of give you guys the full effect on how to do things. If you guys can see on the kind of screen right now on the bottom, you're gonna see what we're gonna be making today. It's gonna be a different styled overlay. It's gonna have more of a circular and a rectangle put together just to kind of create a better feel. You know, a lot of people just go with generic really hard edges and hard cut live stream graphics. So we're gonna be creating more of a professional thing, and this can be used for Twitch, this can be used for YouTube, anything like that. I'm just gonna put Twitch in the title just because it's gonna be more based towards live streaming. So for this tutorial, you guys are going to need just a logo. If you guys don't have a logo, you guys can use a letter on a font, and you guys do not necessarily need any graphics packs, but I would really highly recommend, you know, just getting one. I'm using the Obey pack by I think it's Obey Max, I'm pretty sure. Really good pack. I'm only using one stock in it, or actually two stocks, and you can pretty much find it in like any other pack and stuff like that. So as I said before, they're not needed. So if I was you guys, I would just sit this tutorial out and just watch it all the way through before you guys start designing things. So to get right into it, basically I'm going to be talking just first on what we're going to be doing, and this is going to be a huge series throughout my channel. I'm going to be doing a bunch of parts. I know the bottom overlay is going to be first, then I'm going to do the webcam, and then the panels, outro, intermission screens, everything like that. I'm gonna do it in section by section, so I don't want to make a huge tutorial. So I think I'm gonna go with every 75 likes on a video, I'll be releasing the next part onto this, and as we get more progressed into it, it'll be 100 likes and so on and so forth. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna merge all of these, and I'm gonna put them in a group and just hide it, and I'm gonna label this, actually I'm just gonna label this just bar-overlay. Alright, so I'm just going to take this, I'm going to drag it all the way up so I have a reference of what I'm designing, so it's just a lot easier for me to do this for you guys to get a better explanation. If you guys are wondering what the background is, it's some Halo 5 gameplay. If you want to get some, you guys can just go into Google and type in like Halo 5 gameplay, as I said before, and just type in like a large wallpaper. I'm using a 1920 by 1080, so if you guys are designing this, I would definitely work on a 1920 by 1080 kind of screen, just because it's a lot more professional and people can downscale and not lose any quality. And if they want to go from 1280 to 1920, they can upscale without ruining the quality because it's already in 1920. So that's just kind of like a trick I've learned throughout designing and stuff like that. So let's get right into it with the just the shapes. The basic shapes are going to be circles and squares. So we're just going to take it and we're going to make just a circle. And we're just going to take a square, we're going to make a new layer, which we're going to end up deleting, and then we're just going to take a square, and you can make it a pretty decent length. You guys can make it as long as you want. It's basically however long you want the whole entire overlay to be. And then I just took it and I centered this line in the center of the circle. If you guys are using an updated Photoshop, it should just click in, and you're going to make sure it's also the same height. So as I said before, it should just click in, and I'm just gonna make this a little bit longer for you guys, just so you guys can see more on how to do things and how it can be more put together. So as I said before, you're just gonna duplicate that circle and you're just gonna drag it all the way to the other side, and you're gonna see when it clicks in, it kind of just pops into place, and we're just gonna leave it there. You can zoom in to see if it's in place, which I already know it is because my my Photoshop tells me with those purple guidelines. And we're pretty much just going to take all these three shapes and we're just going to hit Control E on them and merge them together. So now how you can work on is basically up to yourself. You can either work on the middle, or you can work it to the bottom. I'm going to be working from the bottom just because it's a lot easier for me to do so, because I can envision it, you know, being used and stuff like that. So to start this off, really, you're not going to need too much. You're going to need one stock, which is going to be from this Obey pack. It's kind of just a blue glitchy stock, which we're going to be blurring, so you guys can use any kind of blue text stock. You can use any stock you ever want. This is going to be one I'm using for the tutorial because it matches kind of my logo. And you want to drag it into your file if it loads. And I have my document on a different bit by accident, so there's going to be a lot of pop-up screens. So you just want to pretty much merge it into this, and you want to zoom out just a little bit. and then go to filter, blur, and just put a Gaussian blur on this just because it's gonna help a tad bit. And it doesn't have to be crazily blurred. It can be like a 4 point something, or it could be something really low, but you can just pretty much do that and place it wherever you'd like. And the next thing you want to do is grab another stock, which you guys can find in either this pack or a different pack. It's just going to be a bunch of geometric shapes and stuff like this. It's not hard to make, but it's just easier because it's already made for me, and I don't want to take the whole time in the tutorial and stuff. So do the same thing. You just want to drag it in. Gonna make sure that screen doesn't pop up anymore. And you want to put it above this whole entire shape, and then you can just move it around and stuff like that until you find a place that you're kind of comfortable with it. And a placement is definitely key in this to make sure everything looks kind of professional and stuff like that. So I'm gonna leave it just like this, and I'm gonna zoom out a little bit, and I'm just gonna scroll back down. So actually I'm gonna zoom out a little bit more. So now what we can do is grab a logo, and for mine I'm using my whole entire mascot logo. And the reason I'm doing this is just because I love the colors and stuff like this. This is not going to be my logo for much longer. I'm actually getting a new one, and I'll be making a video on that once it comes out and stuff like that. So we're just going to take this and we're going to drag it in to the same thing, just the same document. And what you want to do is basically take the logo that you're using and just put it under the geometric shapes. And just pretty much we're going to want to size it and stuff like that. And if you have a mascot logo, or you're using a mascot logo and it has a little bit of color, I would try to add the color as best as you can inside of it, just because it kind of creates a nice feel. So I'm just going to leave this right here and put it on soft light. So basically what soft light does is it creates a nice effect that where all the darkened areas are darkened and where all the lightened areas are lightened. And you can see right here that it creates a really dope effect. So the next thing you want to do is basically go to the bottom of this rectangle that you guys made and just make a new layer, grab a rectangle again, and then make it white. You can click the background and primary colors and stuff like that. Flip it and grab the white. Same thing, just kind of make a little bar right here. You can put it above the layers that you'd like, but you're gonna pretty much just put this on soft light as well, just to kind of create a little effect. It's nothing too much special, but it's something. So now that you guys have this, you guys can start adding other things. I'm going to be adding the logo next. So you want to just grab your logo again, and you just want to drag it into your document. And you don't want to put it under or in anything, so you just want to take this and just bring it to the top of everything. If you guys are having trouble bringing it out of those arrows, those clipping masks, just bring it to the bottom under the rectangle and then bring it above, just because it helps kind of pop it out of place. So when you want to do this, how you want to do this is you want to size it a little bit bigger than you would usually use it, and you want to just bring it to the middle and then bring it down. And now you can just size it, you want to put it in the middle the best you can, as I said before, and then you can hold shift and alt, and then you can just drag the arrows around just like that. So I want to leave it right there actually, and the logo colors don't match too much well with the background color, so I'm just going to change the logo colors a little bit to more of a darker blue. And now that I have this kind of color scheme going on with this whole blue, I'm going to follow it through with kind of a glowing effect. So I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm just going to grab the blue using my eyedropper, and I'm going to grab my brush tool and put it on a really low size, kind of like a maybe like a 9. And I'm going to highlight every area that's colored, and it doesn't have to be perfectly done, it can be sloppy. Don't make it too much crazily sloppy, do try to keep the whole cleanliness going, but you can half-ass it so it creates something. You want to put this on soft light, and then you want to go to blur, Gaussian blur, and then you want to put on like 1.9 or 2 blur. Grab your brush, your eraser, and just kind of click on little areas, and then you can zoom out and have like a nice little grunge effect, a little not grunge effect, excuse me, have a little lighting effect. So basically now you want to do is just make a new layer under the kind of polygon shapes, and then you want to grab just a regular brush. Make sure the opacity is on 100 right here, flows on 100. Hardness can be whatever. I would just keep it to 0 and then make like the size 90, and make sure it's on black. And you just want to darken kind of the sides right here to kind of create a cast shadow from the logo. So now that you have this done, But what else we can do is start adding text. So text is actually really important with this because it's pretty much going to show your social links that you choose. I'm going to be using 4 in this area because it's a little bit larger than most things. And if you guys don't have enough room, what you can do is actually just hit Control T and you can just drag it out because other things will come. Making it bigger would probably be a better idea, but you know, you could just take this whole circle and like duplicate it and drag it out. I'm gonna keep it the same. So basically what you want to do is find logos on Google. So if you don't have a social media pack, you guys can just hop over to Google and type in like Twitter logo PNG, and you'll be able to find a bunch of transparent PNGs of the Twitter logo. But I have them all saved already, so I'm going to be adding the Twitch icon just because if you guys want to use this, let's just say for YouTube or for something like that, it's a lot easier just for me to add these as well. And you want to put this above everything, and you want to keep the color scheme on white because it matches everything, and it's going to match the logo, and it's going to have a lot more kind of a better flow, as I can say. So for the first one you guys make, you want to make it just let's just say kind of a bigger size than you already do most of them. And then after you take this and stuff, I'm just gonna click right here, and you're just gonna, let's just say, check out my follow my Twitch. All right, and we're gonna keep it on an italicized font. You can keep it regular. I'm not too sure how that'll look. Maybe it'll look a little bit nicer. We'll just try it on the regular font. So I'm using the font Evagria. It's EVOGRIA. There's gonna be hopefully there's gonna be a link in the description. I sometimes forget about it, so don't count on that. But just type it in on defont.com and it'll totally show up. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm just gonna move it over here, and then I'm just gonna put / like username. And as I put this right here, you guys are gonna see that maybe I'm not gonna be using the whole entire file on my Twitch. Maybe I can just put my Twitch and then size this a little bit better. How'd I do it before? And I put check out my. Alright, so maybe I'm gonna put check out my Twitch. Alright, and then what you guys can do is just size this down. You know, it's already on a small size, but we're gonna be shrinking it a little bit more. Maybe making this a little bit bigger, and then taking this font and making it a little bit bigger as well, because you want your username to be the most recognized, just because it's gonna kind of burn in people's brains when they're looking at it. That makes sense to you guys? I hope it does. And then you can make the logo a little bit bigger. It won't lose too much quality. And then move it to the side, obviously. So now you guys have these three. What you want to do is just hit all of them, hit Control T, and then size it down into a size where you can probably fit 2. So I'm gonna leave this kind of in the middle and move it to the left hand side, and I'm gonna zoom out, and right here I think it's gonna look pretty decently. It's a pretty good size, and I'm just gonna put / username. I'm not gonna put my whole entire stuff just because it's a lot easier for me to do. And then you want to take this and just hit Control G, which is gonna group it, and then you can label it like Twitch. And we're gonna be going back to all these folders and all these layers and stuff like that. You want to hit Control J, which is gonna copy it all, and just drag it all the way to the side. And then you want to go change this, and let's just say you want to put Twitter, and you want to zoom back in, hit Control T, maybe drag it so these match. The left hand side doesn't really matter all too much. And then you guys can just grab like the Twitter logo. If you guys want to just change the color, the easiest way is to go to color overlay, which is going to be a right click, blending options, and then color overlay. And just drag it into your thing. Sometimes it's a lot bigger than you anticipate, so as I said before, it's always good just to zoom out and just to change it that way, just to have like a safety check. So we're going to put that right there, and we're going to drag this over here, and we're just going to make it as close as we can. And we have the Twitch, the Twitter, and then let's just say we're gonna have the same 2 things on the other side. I'm not gonna be just pretty much changing them. So just gonna change this to Twitter, and we're just gonna take these and we're gonna duplicate them, and we're just gonna drag these over to the side. And basically what we would do is the same thing I did up there. I would just change these logos and change it to like Snapchat or Instagram, YouTube, and stuff like that. So I'm gonna change this to Twitter 2.0, and Twitch 2.0. So why I said we're going to go back to these layers is we want to have them very customizable and easy to access, just in case we want to change something. So we're just going to click on them, and right when it says username, we're going to put this and put the logo on top. So if you really want to figure out what it is, you can just kind of hide it, but you're going to change this to logo, and you can keep these text the same. And basically you're going to do this for everything. You're just going to put the logo either on the bottom or top. I usually prefer it going on the top just so it's better, and then label it logo, and we're just going to do the same thing for all of this. So basically the reason why we're doing this is just because it's a lot easier to get through and a lot easier to access and customize. Just really nicely done, and you're gonna thank yourself later in the long run doing this. So now that we have this, we're gonna add just a few extra things. So we're gonna go under the kind of geometric shapes again and create a new layer, and we're gonna go to the eyedrop tool, which is gonna be the I key on a computer, and you're just gonna grab the blue color of your logo or whatever color it is. You want to take a brush, let's just say on a size like 150, and you want to click each time above your logo to kind of create a nice like light flare around everything. This is just kind of an extra thing to add just so it looks a little bit cleaner and a lot nicerly put. So now that you have that, what else you guys can do if you guys really want to take it to the next step, you can make it another new layer, and you guys can take a black tool or a black brush on the size like about 60 and just kind of bring it down the whole entire thing and put it on overlay, and then lower the opacity. And what this does, it's going to create a very big high contrast behind everything, and it's going to create that nice drop shadow behind the text to make it pop out a lot more. And as you can see, it creates a nice, really nice effect. So let's label everything else now. So we're going to label this glow, and we're going to label this one, was this the logo? And the reason why we do this, as I said before, is just because it's a lot easier. You can label this like top stock, don't change. And this is obviously going to be the blue light, drop shadow. And I know it's probably like annoying to do this and stuff, but as I said before, just trust me. It's totally worth it. It's especially when you want to go back and change it. You don't have to be very expressive with your thing. Just make it so if you want to go back and change it, you know what it is, and it's really easy. So let's just say that you're done with this whole entire thing and you want to just take it and save it. So all you want to do is take it from the bottom and take it from the top, and make sure it's only the bar that's highlighted, and hit Control J, which is going to group it, and just type in like bottom bar. And after that, I would save the PSD. And then what you want to do to save it actually and make it usable, is going to be highlighting, but taking away the kind of gameplay background you use, and then taking away the full background. And what this is going to do, it's going to create a checkerboard behind the whole overlay itself, and you're going to be able to pretty much just kind of save it as a PNG, PNG24, or web PNG, or just any kind of PNG in general. And you're going to save it as that, and you're going to be able to just have this and just import it into all your banners. And you can see, oh, that's not it. Well, that just disappeared on me. If we go to let's just say my documents, Behr overlay top bar, you can see that if you open mine, it's going to have a black background. It's going to be the same thing if you use this one. And as I said before, it's really nice and really easy to do. As I said before, it's just you really want to learn how to do this stuff, as my computer's freezing. I really highly recommend you guys learning how to do these. Not only does it make good for client work, but a lot of people need them. It's really nice to know how to do. It's really good for portfolios. And if you guys can make stuff like this, you guys can make a bunch of stuff. So now everything's starting to quit out. So basically, this is going to be it. This is going to be part 1, and this is just really easy to do, and it's really nice and really simplistic and clean. For you guys that really don't feel like making this and stuff like this, you guys can purchase just this single part in the description below. It's going to be, I don't really know how much, but it's going to be on my Sellfy, and basically Sellfy takes like 30% of my sales, which is absolutely ridiculous. If I sell something for $1, I get like 52 cents, which is a lot more than 30%, but that's that. I'm making this website, so all this kind of funds you guys pay for this and all the stuff you buy off my website and off my Selfie is going towards my website funding. It's going to be like a $400 investment, and I really think you guys will enjoy it once I get a whole thing running together. So, as I said before, this is going to be in the description to download. It's not going to be the one we just made, but the one I made before, just because I find it's a better quality, and I do think you guys will like this a lot more. Every 75 likes, I'll be releasing the next part on top of this. So, this is part 1. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It didn't take too long. I hope it only took about 20 minutes or so. As I said before, guys, you really need to watch this to learn how to make things. You know, this is very in-depth, and it's very advanced. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a thumbs up, and if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know in the comment section below, and or hit me up on Twitter. My DMs are always open, and I'm at BehrDesign and stuff like that. So thank you guys, and I hope you guys are having a really nice summer. Peace out.
Please don't knock over my heart.